Well, that all happened quite fast. Today we're having a little bit of a mystery solving episode because there was a lot of craziness that happened last week. I got an email from a yarn company, another email talking about what kind of yarns I would be interested in, and then an email on Saturday confirming that a box of yarn was coming to me, and then a call yesterday demanding coffee by the UPS driver in exchange for said box. And today we're going to be diving into said box from Katia Yarns, learning about the new yarns that they have of their fall and winter collection 2025. So grab a cup of coffee or whatever you like to drink, grab a project, sit back, relax, and we're going to dive into this box together. We're going to learn about their new yarns, and we're just going to have some good old yarn talk. If you're new here, my name is Kim, and I'm the host of this channel where we talk all things yarn and where the coffee and the hot tea is always flowing and in our hand. Today we have a little special something, and that is somewhat of a mystery as we dive into this box of Katia Yarns, and I tell you about how we even got here. Also today, keeping my hands warm is some spiced caramel hot tea. But back to how we got to this point. So last week on, I think it was around Wednesday, I noticed that I got an email from a yarn company. And I'm going to be honest, I was a little skeptical. I thought it was a scam. So I proceeded with great caution. And after doing some detective work on my own, I determined that it was, in fact, real and that the message was, in fact, from Katia Yarns. And I replied back, and then I was then connected to someone else who asked me about what yarns I would be interested in trying of the 2025 fall and winter line that Katia has to offer. And when I was asked that question, I thought about it, and I wanted to really focus on yarns that I thought you would be interested in, and yarns that I thought would really resonate with you and with the community more than me. And so that is the yarns that I chose. I do want to say right up front that I am not being paid for this review. I was not given any kind of money whatsoever for any of this. They had just contacted me. And when they contacted me, they had also linked some of the videos that they had actually watched, which I thought was very interesting to see what got them to reach out to me. And they just sent me the yarn in hopes that I would talk about it with you and share with you. So that's kind of the backstory how we got here. Monday came along, and like any excited little yarn lover, I kept running to the gate to see if the yarn had arrived. It is 11:58, and so far there is no package as of yet for this yarn Santa delivery package update. The evening came and I got a call from Andrew, and Andrew was calling not only to let me know that he was on his way, but he would be here in 8 minutes and that he would like a cup of coffee as I came out to get my package and greet him. Andrew, however, does not just really like coffee. Andrew likes the creamer that I put in his coffee, much like myself, and I think that's why we get along so well. And sure enough, I went out and Andrew came bustling down the driveway carrying the bundle of yarn. And not just any bundle, but this 4-pound bundle of yarn, which we're going to be diving into. Now, I do want to say thank you to Katia Yarns for giving me the opportunity to work with them and to share these yarns with you. But I also want to give you some history about Katia Yarns because maybe you've never heard of them. Or maybe you've never used any of their yarns. I actually have known about them for quite some time. I have used their yarns since 2013-ish. My local yarn store actually used to carry a couple of lines from their yarns, and I was excited to get a hold of these because these are ones I have not touched and I have not used. So it's going to definitely be a new adventure for me as well. But Katia was founded in Barcelona in 1951, and they really focus on fiber arts. They focus on knitting, on crochet, and they really focus on sewing. So if you're someone who likes to sit down at your sewing machine every now and then definitely check out their fabrics as well. And their mission leans heavily on community, creativity, and sustainability, which are things that you know that I really care about for this channel, as well as well-being. They're known for their fiber diversity, and we're going to get into that more because a lot of the yarn lines they carry have a huge selection of colors to choose from, and I think that's very, very important. All their yarns work well from any kind of projects, from home projects to garments, and they're all a great quality yarn. They're also now in over 50 countries, so they have grown quite rapidly to be a yarn company that I don't think is that well known compared to the other ones, and that is what I'm hoping to change. So let's open this up and let's dive in to the yarns that Katia has sent. There is this lovely wrapper right here that we're going to remove, and we're going to see what is all in here. Oh my, this box is completely full of yarns. I think the best thing to do is just kind of set this aside and pull out the yarns. With each yarn, I'm not only going to tell you about the yarn itself, I'm going to give you the fiber content, the yardage, the weight category, first impressions, and then I'm going to talk about the project that I'm planning to make with it. And I will link all these projects down below, as always, in the video description. And I'm going to try to figure out how to put these yarns into the carousel under this for ease of shopping. I am an affiliate now of Katia Yarns, so clicking those links not only supports the channel, but it lets them know that you learned about the yarn here, and it gives opportunities for more things like this to come for me to share with you. You will not get charged anything extra for using my affiliate links. It literally is just an easy way for you to support the channel if you are already planning to shop with the yarns. I do not want to try to pressure new things upon you. That is not my goal here. My goal here is just for education because, like I said, I've never used these bases, and I think these would be interesting alternatives to some of the higher priced yarns that are being used in some of these trending projects and projects that you may be working on every day, and offer a much faster way of getting them to you since the company does have a warehouse in Ohio, and also avoiding tariffs and extra fees. So we're going to pick up these browns first because I just think they're so, so pretty. This is definitely alpaca. This is the Concept by Katia Silk Alpaca Natural Colors, non-dyed, super fine alpaca. Look at the cute little floral branches on their tags. I love them. And then this is the inside of the tag. I'm going to hold it as I read from another one. It says 75% alpaca, 26% silk, and then 164 yards. This yarn comes in a total of 6 colors. They're all natural, non-dyed colors, and it's really nice. It's a fingering weight sock weight yarn. Yarn does come in 6 colors. It retails for $10.99 for the 74% superfine alpaca, 26% silk, and 50 grams. It is a fingering weight sock weight. And for 164 yards, I think that's pretty good for a silk and alpaca blend. But I just really loved this camel color, and I just thought it was absolutely gorgeous. You can see the little silk and the little white bits. It's just a really, really pretty yarn. And when I saw this, I immediately thought about the Ulsa hat, which is a petite knit hat. And this hat does utilize 2 different yarns held together, and that is what we're going to do. So to use with the alpaca, the silk alpaca natural colors, I chose this United socks. So I'm going to set this down and we're going to talk about the United socks. The United socks has a huge color library. There is 17 different colors that this yarn comes in, which I think is wonderful because it really gives you a lot of options to make a lot of things, very colorful things with this yarn. They have 105 yards per each, and they are 75% superwash wool and 25% polyamide, which is one of my favorite bases because that little bit of extra nylon gives it some longevity. And it's really soft. It's very comparable to a yarn that's sold in a lot of big box stores that is a fingering weight yarn, but it's softer to me. And the retail for these is only $3.99, which I thought was a really good price for 105 yards of a fingering weight sock. What really caught my eye about these was the fact that these would be really great for stuffies and ornaments, and the fact that they're $3.99 per color. You can make a lot of colorful projects for not a lot of money. And I think that's pretty important because sometimes we want a certain color, but we have to wind up buying a bigger skein of it, and it costs more when we just need a much smaller bundle of it, and this is where something like this would come into play. But these are going to be held with these to make that hat from Petite Knits, and I think it's going to work up lovely. I think it's just going to give it a little bit of a halo and a little bit of softening the darker brown, and I'm really excited to see how those work up together. Now the next yarn I want to talk about is Basic Merino from Katia Yarns. Look how pretty that is. It is so stinking soft. So Basic Merino is a merino superwash 52% and 48% acrylic. It is 130 yards per the 50-gram balls, and it is a DK weight yarn. Now this yarn has quite the color library. It comes in 40 different colors. So that gives you plenty of options to make some really fun and amazing projects and to really use in color work if you like to do color work or mosaic knitting or crochet. And I got a couple of these because I want to test them in a color work project. I want to test how well they handle just kind of blooming and making that project look amazing. And I also really want to test the color fastness. Is there going to be runoff? Is it going to ruin their project? Because we've all seen horror stories where someone has spent all this time doing a color work project only to have it ruined when they go to block it and there's a lot of color runoff. And we're going to test that. I love this base, a 42% superwash merino, 48% acrylic, because it's going to give some longevity to the project. And this feels like one of my favorite other commercial yarns, which is Barocco Vintage, and I'm really interested to see how it compares to that in hand and after wash. Now, the project that I chose for this is a colorwork project. It is the Maxine bottle cover, and I chose this project because it's also going to have that hot water in it. So I want to see how well the yarn reacts to having that next to it. How well, if it melts or if it felts, all those things I'm willing to try out for the sake of science for you. And for my bottle cozy, I am using this color, which is number 90, and this is green. And I'm choosing this color, which is number 75, which is called Raspberry Red. And then I got this color, which is color 71, which is Orc. And then I got this one, which is color 62, and that is called Light Pink. And I got a number 3, which is Cream. And then I got 2 for the main body of the water bottle, and for that I'm using the color number 5, which is a dark blue. But I think that's going to be great and give a lot of contrast. I'm really going to test these lighter yarns up against these darker yarns for color fastness. Now these are a great price point as well. They only retail for $6.99, and Katia does put their yarns on sale, so you can catch a sale and even get a greater deal. But for the $6.99 for the DK weight and 130 yards per ball, I think that's a really great deal and is really going to give you a lot of options for a variety of things like household items to even wearables like sweaters, shawls, and hats. And again, this yarn is it's really, really soft. I've never used this base, but when I saw the makeup was very similar to Barocco, which I love, I was really, really interested in trying it out. So I'm very excited to cast that on and get that going so we can block it and see how the yarn behaves. So the next yarn that I wanted to try out and that is the merino tweed. And I got two of two different colors, but I want to tell you about the merino tweed. It is a lovely tweeded yarn. I do love a good tweed, and these are also so soft. This is a color number 310, and this one is color 300. Merino tweed is a 51% merino and a 43% acrylic, and it has 6% viscose. It is a worsted weight yarn, and in these 50-gram balls, you are getting 85 yards per ball in a variety of colors. And like the other ones before, it has a huge color library of 16 different colors to choose from. And I think it's really going to allow you to make some more gorgeous projects. For this, I'm going to be using these four colors for the Easy Ombre hat. It is a knit hat that has a little bit of color work, but again, I want to test the color fastness in the green and see if there's any kind of runoff in the water that will fall onto the cream. And this hat is a free pattern, and it's a very, very, very popular hat. And I just think it will look really neat done up in the tweed yarn. And I think it's just going to be a great option in case you are wanting to look into doing some color work projects, but also really love the tweed and looking for a price point that is affordable in today's economy. And I think this is going to do it in a nice wool blend yarn. Now, this next yarn I got was because it looks very familiar to another popular yarn right now all over social media. This is a really cool chain ply yarn. So it has chains and then it has, I guess, the wool blown into it. I love the color. I love the little bit of sheen on these and the little bit of halo. This is Concept by Katia Cotton Merino Extra Fine. And the details on this, it is 70% cotton, 30% merino extra fine, and a DK weight. There is 115 yards per 50-gram ball of this. And y'all, this is so soft. This is not your grandmother's cotton. This is some really, really nice cotton mixed in with some really, really nice wool. And the color library that this is available in is very extensive. It has 26 different colors of this gorgeous yarn. And I was really curious to see how this works up and how much of a bloom it has and just how those fibers kind of play with wear, but also because it reminds me of a very, very popular yarn that you have probably seen everywhere right now, and I'm really curious to see how this compares. So with this, I was going to knit another very popular knit up, and that is the Petite Knits Sophie scarf. This has 115 yards, and the Petite Knit Sophie scarf needs anywhere from 101 to 140 yards. I think I can make it work, but I thought it would be really, really pretty in that, and so I was really tempted to see it worked up in something such as that. Next up, we have this fun yarn. This is Funny Aztec Nonstop Creativity from Katia, and this is color number 203. And let me tell you about Funny Aztec. So 203 is called Light Pink to Sky Blue. It's a composition of 53% wool and 47% acrylic. It is a bulky weight yarn. It is super squish-o-matic, and there's 197 yards. This yarn retails for $15.99, and that's a pretty good price point for a acrylic wool based with that good of a yardage. With this, I really wanted to test this yarn for my crocheters because I know that a lot of y'all like to use mandala cakes, and this kind of gives me the mandala cake vibe. And for that test, I'm going to be crocheting up the twirl beanie. And I really think the way that the stitches are on this hat, it's really going to make the yarn kind of come alive, and we can really see how the yarn plays and how the yarn crochets up. So I'm excited to see that. And I think that y'all are probably going to love this in a hat. I think it's going to be amazing with that stitch pattern. And it's also very, very, very soft. I love the marl of the yarn. Okay, the next thing that I really wanted to try out was really for my crocheters as well, because I think this is something that y'all are gonna love. Right now, the granny square yarn seems to be really in all the spaces, and that is what this ginormous bundle of happiness is. Look at that. Wow. The colors are so pretty in this. I just really love the greens. Look at that. So this is Concept by Katia, and this is Merino Baby Granny, and it is 100% superwash merino extra fine yarn. It is a sport weight yarn. These retail for $49.99, which seems a little bit high, but let me tell you what's pretty cool about these. I'm going to read straight from the description of the website. Merino Baby Granny by Concept by Katia is 100% merino wool. It's perfect for sensitive skin. And it's available in various unique combinations of vibrant and softer colors. It has an easy care treatment on the yarn, which you can wash your projects in the wash machine for easy maintenance of the baby garments and accessories. This wool is designed to flow to the current trend of the famous granny squares. With each skein, you're going to be able to crochet 24 squares, 12 gradient, 6 striped, and 6 solid color squares. So the way this granny works up is you're not just going to have 24 squares that are going to look alike. You're going to get 24 squares, but you're going to have 12 in gradient square effects. You're going to have 6 that are striped with a different kind of colors around, and then you're going to have 6 solid squares. So this is going to allow you to make a baby blanket that is really going to look like you had a bunch of different yarns, but it's all going to come from one ball. As far as the color library that the Concept Merino Granny Baby has, it only comes in 4 different colors right now, but when I say 4 different colors, it's still a wide variety of color in them. But this is color number 502. So this one is the one that has brown, rose, and khakis. But I think they're all going to be very pretty. There's not a lot of information on the website about this, but there is a couple of projects. There is a baby blanket, and then there is a women's bag. The women's bag, I think we're going to have enough yarn to make because it requires one of these, which retails for $49.99. And then it also requires one of the merino babies, which is what this is that they sent me. So this is Concept Merino Baby. It has a huge color library as well. It comes in 75 different colors. It is also a sport weight yarn. It's 100% merino, and there's 180 yards per 50-gram ball of this one. And this is color number 86, which is mint green. But we're going to use both of these together, and I think we're going to make that bag and see how it works up. I'm really interested to see how this crochets up as far as the colors, if I can get the gauge. That's always my question about these granny square yarns, is how easy is it to get gauge so that the colors align properly? And I think that's the main key for these. And as someone who is not the strongest crocheter, I think it'd be a really good test because I am kind of their target audience, I guess, who wants to make some really cute, colorful crochet stuff, but don't want to put a lot of effort into buying a bunch of skeins of yarn, or that really wants something simple and easy to use for a quick project. So I'm definitely interested in trying those out. And then I have one more yarn to show you. The last yarn that was sent to me is this really fun green color. There was 3 of these in the box. This is something that I don't know what we're going to do with, but we're going to figure it out. This is Concept by Katia in the Reiki base. It is a super-fine alpaca merino wool. 60% superfine alpaca and 29% merino, 11% pollinide. It is 120 yards per 50-gram ball. It is a DK weight yarn, and I think it's going to be interesting to play up. I see a lot of these kind of yarns being used right now across social media. It's almost like a brushed yarn. It's really pretty. This color is color number 109, which is pistachio. But I'm really excited to see what to do with these yarn. Looking at the website, there are a couple of pattern ideas for these. There's a vest and a cardi. I don't think I have enough for the vest because I would need 5 of them. But we will definitely find something, maybe a really pretty shawl, and see how it works up. It really smells good. It has a little bit of that merino smell. It's super soft. I'm really curious to see how easy it is to knit or crochet with this. You can see the straying of yarn and how the fiber comes off of it. It's almost like a little bit of a chain, and then it has there's a good shot of it. The yarn coming through it. If you've ever used any of these yarns, I would love to know down below, and I would love to see what you made out of them. So leave a picture of that on the community tab. You can do that from your mobile device. And I would just also be interested into knowing which one of these yarns have caught your eye. Do you see any that you're like, wow, I really, really want to try that? So going forward, this is going to be like a new series on the channel. This is going to be part 1 of this series of Katia Yarn, and we're going to focus on the new yarns. We're going to swatch the yarns. We're going to test the stitch definition. We're going to cast on some real projects, and we're going to wash them up to test for color fastness. And then after some time, when I wear them and use them, I will let you know about their longevity. And this is something that I'm gonna be doing with other yarn companies as well that I have, because I would love to do like a different kind of series every now and then, highlighting the different yarns that are available to us. I'm really excited about trying these yarns because of the fact that they are US based warehouse and that we can get their yarns sent in a timely manner and also avoid the tariffs. This will not replace my weekly What's on My Hooks and Needles series. This is just going to be another kind of video that I'm going to put out when I can to enhance that. And we're probably going to get started on some of these projects maybe this weekend or even the first of next week. So I hope you keep an eye out for those. To make sure that you don't miss this series, you can subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. And that way YouTube will notify you when a new video of mine goes up. But thank you so much for being here today. Thank you again for Katia Yarns for trusting me with this bundle of joy and for testing these out with my community. I hope that you enjoy the content that I am putting out there with these. And as for the wonderful community, thank you so much for being here and experiencing these yarns with me for the first time. I'm greatly impressed with how soft every one of these are. But I am interested to know, which of the yarns did I show you today are you more interested in, and have you ever worked with Katia Yarns before? If you have, I would love to know down below. And if you've got a finished project using some Katia Yarns, please share that on the community tab. I would love to see it, as well as the other members of the community. I can't wait to dive in, and yeah, so we'll be doing that really soon. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely week, and talk to you later.